country's 239 years old today. That's about 40 years longer than any democracy's ever survived in the history of the world. And we're about to throw this one away. But every year they ask me to tell you a little bit about American history, and I love it. I told Miss Phyllis if they let me in Van Cleve School teach American history, 4 years, there'd be a different bunch of kids coming out of school. They don't teach it anymore. So, if you don't mind, I won't take much of your time, but I got a little story. I always got a story about history. I wrote in the bulletin for tomorrow. Of course, you haven't seen it yet. This is the only country that has a known birthday in the world. It's the United States of America. July 4, 1776. Every other country built up to where they were at, conquered this, changed rulers, done that, done something. But our country was born in one day. July 4, 1776. We're different people today than those people were. And I want to tell you a little story. I want to tell you a little bit about the British people, just to set the scene, and then I want to tell you a little story about the Revolutionary War. We were a colony along with Australia, Africa, parts of Africa. Great Britain pretty much ruled the world. They believed that there was a ruling class and a working class. And their rulers believed that God had made them rulers over regular people. But the folks over here in the United States that came over to colonize the United States, they were individuals. They didn't need no group to go with them to do anything. They had confidence and faith in their own self, in their ability to think, their ability to work. We call it rugged individualism. Miss Clinton, Mr. Obama, most of the folks in the Senate and Congress today, they believe that they ought to tell us all what to do.
Amen.
I hone in, it's a little thing, I hone in on it all the time, seatbelts. All you had to do is give us the information. If you wear seatbelts, you have this chance of surviving. Don't make no laws and rules where people have to ride around and chase you like a dog.
Yes, sir.
Tell us, we got sense, and we love our children, and we'll make the decision and take care of it. They don't believe in that. Now, the British people, and don't take this the wrong way, all of us ancestors come from somewhere.
Yes, sir.
But the British people were hard people, mean people. Come on. If you study what they did, when they went to Africa, who was it? The Watusi tribe eventually just took all they could take and just annihilated a couple of their armies, and they just bagged up and left. They were hard on the people over here. It was hard enough to come over here with nothing and try to scratch out a living for your family and take care of them. And it was up in the Northeast, most all of the 13 colonies. It was cold winters, it was hard, but they came here for religious freedom, and nobody telling them what to do. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I don't like nobody telling me what to do.
That's right.
Now, I'm the generation when we die out, they can take the rest of y'all over.
That's right.
Amen.
Yep, that's right.
But they can't do it till our generation dies. Because we won't stand for that.
Amen.
Y'all can amen a little bit.
Come on.
I'm not preaching, I'm just teaching history.
Yes, sir.
So most of you know about the Tea Party, the Boston Tea Party. But all really England was doing was taking everything that the people made over here for themselves and just leaving them the scraps. That's what they did all over the world as they colonized the world, ruled the ocean. But folks over here decided that we didn't want to put up with that anymore. You know, somebody slap across the ocean telling us what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the little saying was, without so much as a buy your leave. I like that. I use it myself. Okay. So the British people decided that they were going to come over here with all their ships. Right before, it was in 1775, the latter part of 1775. They came into Long Island Harbor in New York. They were going to take their troops and march from New York, Long Island, New York, up to Concord. That's New Hampshire, isn't it?
Yeah.
Y'all have it because my mind
Yeah,
don't work like
you're
that.
right.
And what they were going to do was cut off the New England northern states divides. And they knew that separated like that, we wouldn't be able to stand against them. Now everybody in here has heard of the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere.
Yes, sir.
If I got a little 16-year-old girl in here, anywhere, 16. Got a 16. No 16s? Rosie? What you doing hiding back there? Miss Rosie, I want to use you for a minute. The way our society works today, if you say the wrong thing, they point at you, ostracize you. They want you to believe that you're insignificant, that you can't have any say-so, you can't change anything, you can't be anything. We grew up thinking we could do whatever we wanted to. We could be whatever we wanted to be.
Yes, sir.
But they're doing their best to get you to where you don't think that way anymore. And history has been rewritten time after time after time, and it gets worse every time they do it. But we know about Paul Revere and the lanterns and the old church, and if they were coming by sea or coming by land, and he made the ride and warned everybody. But we probably don't know this story. When the British decided to go from Long Island up to Concord and divide the colonies so they could, and we wouldn't have won the Revolutionary War. They found out about it late one evening. And we had the militias, which was just farmers, cattle people, just folks. And by the way, everybody that run our government back then was just folks. George Washington was a farmer. And they elected him twice as president, wanted to elect him the third time. He said, no, I'm going back home and farm. And the legislative people used to go up there, do their job, come back home, make their living. Now we got professional politicians. All they're worried about is their job. But about dusk that evening, they found out what the British were doing, and it wasn't like you could make a call and get the armed forces up. People scattered all over the countryside. They lived in the country. So they said, we've got to find a way to let the militia know what's going on where we can stop them. There's a little 16-year-old girl. This is a true story. She was of German descent, 16. Had her hair plaited back. They got a little statue of her up there in Concord. If you're ever up there and hunted up, it'll be something you won't know anything about, must be. She got on her horse and left her farm at 9 o'clock that night. Rode until daylight the next morning, had a stick in her hand, about that long. She rode 40 miles horseback in one night.
Wow.
Now, most of us in here are not horse people. But 40 miles on a horse in 9 hours, you're getting all out of it he's got. and you asking him for stuff he ain't got. I know. She'd ride up to the houses, hit the house door with a limb, and when somebody would stick their head out, she would tell them what was happening, where to meet. And that little 16-year-old girl that night gathered up 400 militiamen.
Amen.
And they were able to ambush the British.
Amen.
Of course, the Continental Congress was mad at them. But back then, people did what they thought was right,
That's right.
whether everybody else agreed with it or not. And that little girl, if you really study history, is attributed with saving the United States of America.
Amen.
16 years old. Nobody knows her name. I can't even pronounce it. I can spell it for you. Just a little German kid, bareheaded, 40 miles on horseback. Young like you. Read that something?
Amen.
Saved the Republic. So, what I'm saying is, you gotta, don't ever think you can't do anything. The Bible's filled with people that God put there just for that purpose and for that reason. And nobody knew it. Now this country, I won't say a word about this country. We got the greatest military in the history of the world.
Amen.
Amen or not?
Yes, sir.
I mean, the ISIS people over there is just a nuisance.
That's right.
If we were to call our people and send them over there and give them no
Take that out.
rules to go by.
Uh-huh.
Rules like they fought under for the last 40 years, that 3 bullets has got to come by your head. You've got to be able to hear all 3 of them before you can shoot back. Maybe give them an order like George Patton did when he went into some of the towns and the snipers were in the building shooting these men. He mounted 50 caliber machine guns on jeeps and told them to ride up and down the streets all night. And he said, if you see a curtain move, if you see a sash open, fill it with 50 caliber bullets. And the sniping business was over.
Amen. There you go.
So our military, we could conquer the world.
Amen.
Yep.
Right or wrong?
That's right.
I mean, the United States of America could rule the world.
Yep.
But we went over there and saved Britain during World War II. Might as well shake your head because
Yes,
they
sir.
were gone. France, Italy, Spain. We saved China when Japan was going to conquer them before World War II ever started. Russia owes their existence to the United States of America. Come on.
Yes, sir.
We didn't keep none of them countries.
Mm-mm.
People griping these liberal mouth, no count. I'm teaching history now, not preaching. Griping about us going to Iraq, but I was sitting in my chair one evening when the news came on and the Marines opened the prison door and 500 kids came out of that prison.
Amen.
And I jumped up out of my chair. There wasn't nobody there but me. And I said, thank God there's a country like the United States of America.
Amen.
What if that had been our kids?
That's right.
Shut up in a prison here. Wouldn't you like to think there was some country somewhere that it was no skin off their nose?
Right.
It wasn't hurting the United States of America that those kids was over there in prison. But this is a good country.
Amen.
And boy, I tell you what, I hope I don't ever see anybody burning the flag.
Right.
Because I'm going to have a word with them.
Amen.
Amen. People fought and died so we could be free.
That's right.
And that little youngin' rode all night long so we could be free. But freedom has been purchased, but it has to be kept.
Yes, sir.
And it's sad to say to me that we're just handed in the world
Yes, sir.
in this day and time. Amen. And we're going to live to see, some of y'all will, the effect that it's going to have on these boys and girls sitting right here in this room. Because we didn't stand for what was right.
That's right.
Now, if you stand for right, they're going to point at you and they're going to call you names. That's their modus operandi. But I've been called names before.
Yes, sir.
Right's right.
right. Amen.
And wrong is wrong.
Amen.
We've let our churches down, which is a bulwark against what's going on now. We no longer have them. You say, Brother Wayne, there's churches everywhere. No, there's not.
Mm.
There's buildings everywhere.
That's right.
Where clubs meet everywhere.
Right.
It's not churches. Amen. There's preachers, so-called, that compromise with anything as long as everybody likes them. You can't do your job hoping everybody likes you.
Amen.
You got to stand for what's right. Amen. I don't know about you. I do know about y'all. I'm glad to live here.
Amen.
And I promise you, all the folks griping and carrying on about it, just carry them somewhere else and let them stay about a year. They'll be glad to get back
That's right.
here. Thank you for letting me give you my little history lesson, true story. I say this all the time, and people don't understand what I'm saying. They've taken rights away from us every day. This is a free country.
Yes, sir.
If I want to drive a diesel truck, I drive a diesel truck.
That's right.
Amen. And they say, well, we got to have alternative energy. Well, where is it?
Right.
I mean, keep working on it. When you get it figured out, we'll all change. But it's not figured out.
That's right.
And if you took the gas and oil off the market, who's going to suffer the most from it? Poor people.
Yeah.
Amen.
Not those folks up there.
Mm-mm.
They tell me Miss Clinton hadn't drove a car in 20 years. What's that to her? She don't care if he got gas or not.
That's right.
Come on.
That's right.
That's right.
It's poor people in third world countries that helps them get ahead, gas and oil. God put it here for some reason. Didn't
Yes,
he?
sir.
You know, we've been taught stuff. Evolution is not true. I got a book about that thing at the house. If any of you want to look at it, of stuff that's impossible, could not have happened. With evolution, all it takes is common sense to figure it out. It's not true.
Amen.
Amen.
Evolution is not science, it is a religion.
Amen.
It is not science. Cannot be proved.
Amen.
Come on, y'all awful quiet. God made everything after its kind.
Amen.
And you can't turn a dog into a cat.
Amen.
Nope.
And I gave you the little quote a couple of weeks ago. If somebody come up to you in school and said, you can take a frog and a princess can kiss that frog and it'll turn into a prince, y'all would all laugh.
That's right.
But that is what they're saying. It's just a matter of time.
Amen.
Right.
Instead of it happening just like that, it happens over 4 billion years. Same story.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
I don't believe it either way.
Amen.
We've got to stand on the Bible. The Bible won't let you down.
Amen.
It is
Right.
the truth. You don't have to be mean about it, but we have to stand. So I leave you with my little saying. I tell you the story because I'm not preaching, I'm doing history. Several years back, it's probably been, I can't keep it, 10 or 15 years ago. I came out one morning, me and Miss Phyllis had a bunch of weanling calves in a pen. They was 5 months old. I was going to feed them and check their water before we came to church. Went out early that morning. Right down behind my barn, I didn't have the land cleared. I heard people down there cutting limbs, putting up tree stands on my land. I went and told Miss Phyllis, I said, well, I'll check on that when I get home. But as we started out, I saw them come down the road in their pickup trucks with their stuff in the back, and they stopped right at the corner of my land. And it was just a little more than I could take. So I just drove on down there where they were. There was 3 men. I got out as nice as I could be. I said, fellas, was that y'all in there putting up their stands? Yep. I said, look right down that way. They're standing right on the landline. I said, you see them big tall pine trees with that blue paint on them? Yep. I said, on that side, my land.
That's right.
On that side, I don't know who owns that. On this side, my land.
Yes, sir.
One of them said, you don't even know what you're talking about. I was being nice. But my people did come from the sky.
That's right.
I turned around there, fire in my eyes.
That's right.
I said, you need to go get in the truck. You're not man enough to be in this conversation.
That's right.
He did exactly what I told him, roll the window up. I said, now fellas, I'm not arguing with y'all, I'm going to church. I said, the only reason I'm telling you what I'm telling you is you don't know where my house is, you don't know where our neighbors are. You in the woods, you don't know that you're 50, 60, 80 yards from somebody's house. You're going to shoot somebody. I said, I don't care nothing about the deal. But I said, you're not hunting on my land.
That's right.
So when I get back, I said, I'm not going to do it today because it's Sunday. But I said, in the morning, I'm going to get on that big John Deere tractor with that front end load. Whatever y'all got put up. I said, I'm not getting off the tractor. I'm not untying it. I'm not doing no straps. I'm taking y'all's junk and putting it back on the other side of that land.
Amen.
Went to church. Got back home that day, 2 police officers from Jackson County pulled up my driveway. They said, are you Mr. Myers? I said, yep. They said, them fellas said you intimidated them this morning.
You think?
I said, well, I'm nearly 60 years old. I said, all 3 of them's in their 20s. I said, I wouldn't have told that to nobody. But I said, they're not hunting on my land. I said, they didn't lease my land.
That's right.
And I said, you two are not telling me they're going to hunt on my land.
That's right.
I said, now y'all go find you something else to do. You know what they did? They said, yes, sir. Went and got in their car and left. I said, you don't have the right to be here telling me that's on my land.
That's right.
Now, I told that little silly story to say this. They had been bothering everybody up there, hunting on their land, because they're from Louisiana, they just couldn't do it, hunting on everybody's land. And if anybody said anything to them, they called the cops. Well, calling the cops don't matter to me.
No, that's right.
That's what you want to do, you call them. You're not taking that right away from me.
That's right.
I bought that land.
Amen.
Amen.
Now, I don't own it. I'm a steward of it for God.
Amen.
Yes,
But
sir.
it's my land.
That's right.
And you're not hunting on my land.
Amen.
And one of them turned around and come back. He said, Mr. Myers, he said, will you ride down there with us and talk to them? This is what I told him. I'm not in the habit of talking to trash like that. You tell them they're not hunting on my land.
That's right.
I said, now y'all here because you think I'm going to shoot somebody. I ain't going to shoot somebody. I said, but if they catch them on my land, I'm going to cut me a golf red limb. And I'm going to wham them out.
Amen.
I said, go tell them.
That's right.
Let's quit for our children's sake. Letting people take stuff away from us.
Amen.
It's a right not given to us by the government of the United States of America. It's given to us by God.
Amen.
That's what the Constitution says.
Amen.
All men, and that's a generic term for humanity, are created equal. Amen. By God. And given certain unalienable rights.
Yep.
By God.
Amen.
Amen. Thank y'all for the history of that.
Thank you, preacher.
They ought to be teaching our children that.
Yep.
Amen.
Amen.
Instead of teaching them that we all got to be robots, we all got to do the same stuff. No, that's not what made this country great, and it's not what's going to keep it great. God bless you, and may God bless the United States.
Amen, preacher.